Here we go.
There we go.
Yes.
So,
Melissa. All right. Introduce yourself first, if you don't mind. Tell me just a little. So, I know that you spend time not only with ladies, with gentlemen, with everybody, checking vital signs and so all of that is important to you. But I wanted to talk to you a little bit more about the mental health of the people that you kind of, run into, ladies, and
sure.
as I was telling you that I wanted to focus in on women's issues.
Yeah. And even coworkers. I mean, that's how some of the conversation came about, and you learn how to see things based on the conversation we were having was how we were all kind of struggling with bouts of depression it was sometimes not something you could just shake off.
Yeah.
But also didn't feel like, do I need to go to a doctor? Not really wanting to just be medicated, but wanted to kind of know what's the root. There has to be a root.
Mm-hmm.
And so I said, I think women sometimes have PTSD and they don't realize they do because it's associated mostly with people who've gone to war, but any traumatic experience can be that and bring that on.
Yeah.
And I believe that's where those bouts of depression root from.
And I'm going to say something that I think most women, we're always at war.
Isn't that the truth? You got a point there.
We're always at war.
One way or another.
Yeah, because between trying to...
Especially certain generations. We've had to fight harder.
Tell me about it.
I know you had.
Economically,
okay,
we're fighting.
And career potential, that was it.
We're fighting.
Just in the last 10 years, have I seen with my own eyes, I can see that getting better. But that's only the last 10 years.
Yeah. And I want to say, for those that will eventually end up viewing this video, this is May 25th, 2022. Because I'm praying to God that it's that more and more, and I'm more concerned about women than I am men, and that's because as a female, I know what I've went through.
Yes.
Okay.
It's more relative. We relate. Yeah.
And I think people.
That's why we even have the conversation.
Thank you. People take it for granted that I guess we're supposed to just deal with whatever comes our way.
And we think that too. I think I was born into that.
Yeah.
I was born into the generation of women who I had aunts and grandparents who never learned to drive.
Are you serious?
It wasn't,
what?
They didn't need to.
Why they didn't need to?
They were stay-at-home moms, and the husband did all the driving, and really, there was a different generation at one time.
I know.
And those women just sucked it up.
Yep.
And I think some of that's handed down.
Yeah.
Whether it's consciously or subconsciously.
I agree. I agree. And even though today's women are, they have more of an option as far as getting out of the house and going to work, I think they have even more stress to deal with than we do.
Sure.
Because
you got to do it all.
Yeah. Because now you got to...
I could be like an auntie and not have to drive and just have somebody do everything for me.
Yeah. Because
all I have to do is cook and clean. Wouldn't that be great?
Wouldn't that be great? They're looking for husbands,
yes, having
children, working jobs of all different caliber.
Yeah.
Okay.
Have to be queens of it all.
Yeah. And let's just face it, women also have to deal when they're on a job. If they're in management, then they have to work harder than the men just to be accepted. And we won't even talk about the income gap. Okay, that's a whole nother issue. Yes. That's a whole nother conversation. Yes. But, what type of stressors, we were talking about, you and the ladies were talking about some stressors, and I've been dealing with that a lot lately too, with, talking to ladies and just listening and watching. the ridiculous things that women are going through. I posted a video yesterday because I was just outdone even with those children being shot. And think about all those mothers.
That's so heartbreaking, isn't it? Heartbreaking.
You know,
Talk
18
about
kids.
PTSD, that's,
PTSD.
that's going to leave some people with,
Exactly.
definitely with that.
God only knows what they're dealing with at home anyway. Okay. I don't know the income bracket of that community, but how many of them are probably single mothers? But one thing for sure, their mothers were young children.
Yeah.
And I remember what that was like. I had 3 young children at one time. And I've helped to raise grandchildren.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
A day at school can cause cause all kinds of trauma. How's the kids producing?
Right.
How are the grades? Who getting homework done?
Yes.
Getting them to bed, getting up, going to work, or
Making
my
sure they
case,
have something to eat.
yes,
They come home, they're hungry, and there you are. And I'm stressed sometimes, and I'm tired, but got to keep going.
got to keep going.
And I
then,
think that can induce the type of depression, and because then we just shut down.
mm-hmm.
We don't even realize we're doing it.
Hmm.
I think it's maybe a protective mechanism in a way.
It's definitely habitual.
Yes.
Okay, we have to find a way to cope. Okay, it might not be the best way, but we do what we have to do as women.
Right. And just talking about it makes a huge difference.
Oh.
When you get in a little group of women, which is why we were just having that conversation, like, I just said, is anybody else depressed? Like, I just feel blah. And everybody started talking about their own experience. There's times when you feel like you're over the moon. Everything's going great. Even with stressors, even with work stress, things don't go right. You're still okay. And then there's other times when it's a struggle. It's a push. And you can't just shake that off.
No.
But the best way is to communicate. And we started telling each other.
Mm-hmm.
And that was like magic.
Talking about it.
Yeah.
I think it makes a lot of difference. And, how many women, don't have anybody to talk to?
And that's the thing.
Okay. And one thing about us, we internalize all of that.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So, people talking about war. Okay. If you're internalizing your pain, your anxiety, it's going to have the same effect. Okay. And depending on what your day is like, whether or not you're being abused, or you feel like it,
Yes.
with the children, with the job, with life itself.
Yes.
God only knows what your day is like.
That's right. And women who have come from abuse. I was in a very abusive marriage, when I was young, and it left. It's over and everything. You're fine. I moved on. I'm successful. Kids are good, but not really. Because then you're left with some emotional scars if you can't find people that you trust, and I think that's where people have a hard time.
Mm-hmm. And those scars are real, whether people realize it or not.
Yes.
My ministry has been focused in on domestic abuse, and what people don't understand is that if someone batters you, that's easy to look at and see you've been battered.
Yes.
Bruises, yeah. But then there's those internal scars.
Yes.
That's those things that nobody sees inside
That's
of you.
what it does to your self-esteem, your self-confidence, and even if you can exude those things, the little fake it till you make it thing.
Go ahead now, talk.
It's not real.
No.
And eventually it'll come to get you if you don't have somebody that you can confide in. That's where the sisterhood is so
a good thing.
important. Yeah.
Well, I want to thank you for sharing the sisterhood with me, because quite frankly, I really, really do believe that it makes a big difference. And for you ladies out there who don't have anybody to talk to, find yourself a group. Matter of fact, get a group.
Yes.
Friends, families. There's someone.
And elderly people who have nobody usually to visit with them are wonderful. They're a wealth of knowledge, and they'll listen to you.
Hey,
If you
that
don't,
that's
you
a
can
great
trust
suggestion.
it.
Great
Mhm.
suggestion. I mean,
It
that's the
is.
solution to a couple of problems
It is.
because they're lonely and want somebody to talk to.
Mm-hmm.
You probably need somebody to talk.
Yes. That you know ain't gonna turn around and call everybody or whatever
Yep.
about you.
Yep.
They may not even know you,
Yeah.
but you'll have an opportunity to tell a little about yourself, and it helps you air it. It helps you feel better when you
It
release
does.
it.
One thing that I've discovered is when I go to a mall or someplace, oh my God, senior citizens are so willing to talk to you and to tell you, and listen. Oh my God, they love to hear about what's going on with you.
Yes.
So we don't necessarily want to just pick up strangers, but you'll be surprised at what wonderful people that are out there
That's right.
that would
People in
love.
nursing homes that really have no visitors and would love to have a visit.
Great source.
It is.
Yeah, great
If
source.
you have nothing else, if you can't find that little circle or one or two people that you can confide in.
And before I met Michael, he actually used to go to the nursing homes and visit. Michael's my husband. For those of you who don't know, we're newlyweds, so I still talk about him in a good way. But yeah, he used to go to the nursing homes and sit down and talk because everybody does not have dementia.
That's right.
There's a lot of people there that still have their full mind.
That's right.
There's nothing wrong with their capacity. They may not just be able to take care of themselves physically, but mentally they're in great shape.
Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I used to go. I put mother in NHC, and I would go and roll her outside and sit and talk to her. And matter of fact, met a very good friend there because he was doing the same thing with his mother. His mother had dementia. We'll sit the ladies down, and they'd sit there and look at the moon and the sun and whatever, and we'd end up talking. And it was great for my anxiety because at the time I was a full-time caregiver, had nobody to talk to.
Right. So
it worked out, Oh my God, he counseled me through a whole lot of stuff. By the time he got finished, I felt confident enough to date.
Yeah, and somewhere that you would have never even imagined.
No.
People just don't realize the wealth of knowledge and even emotional fortitude that you can find.
That's right.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else you want to share before we close it out?
Nope, I think that's great.
All right. Thank you. All righty.